Israel launched airstrikes on what it described as military targets in Iran in retaliation for a ballistic missile assault earlier this month. There was no immediate information available on damage to the country, but Iranian state media reported the sound of explosions around Iran's capital, Tehran, without immediately elaborating. Iranian state television later identified some of the blasts as coming from air defense systems, without offering more details. 2 Israeli officials said the strikes on Iran were not targeting nuclear or oil facilities.
Palestinians in Gaza started their Friday morning mourning their dead. Dozens were killed as missiles rained down on Khan Younis, striking at least 10 residential buildings. The city is one of the most densely populated areas in the south of the enclave, with hundreds of thousands of displaced sheltering there. And in the north, where Israeli forces have been staging a weeks-long siege, attacks on the Kamal Adwan hospital are continuing. It comes just one day after attacks on the Jabalia refugee camp, where officials say dozens were massacred. It's the latest in a number of attacks targeting civilian locations.
As the war grinds on, Ukraine's military intelligence says the first North Korean units trained in Russia have been deployed to the Kursk region, where Ukrainian troops launched a ground offensive in August. Overnight, South Korea's president indicated he's now considering sending weapons to Kyiv to help fend off the new Russian-North Korean partnership. It would mark a break in the South's long-standing policy of not supplying weapons to countries involved in an active combat. Russian officials are now threatening to respond if Seoul gets involved.
It seems blowing up cross-border roads wasn't enough for North Korea, which has now been seen to be building 100-meter-long walls along the inter-Korean border. The Voice of America reported on Friday that a satellite image from Planet Labs shows a wall being built on a road and railway called the Gyeonggi Line, one of the 2 major roads and railways connecting the south and north that Pyongyang blew up earlier this month. As of Thursday, the blocking structure appeared to be approximately 95 meters long. Meanwhile, the South Korean military also detected a 200-meter-long wall on another demolished cross-border road, the Donghae Line.
A major emergency in dense bushland. 2 light planes having collided mid-air above Balimbla Park near Picton just before midday. The aircrafts plummeting into the back of a rural property, debris strewn amongst the trees. Locals ran to the scene to help, one wreckage sparking a blaze in surrounding scrubland. RFS crews working as quickly as they could to contain the flames before the crash scenes could even be reached. Any hope of survivors fading fast.
Presidentes e pelo diretor-geral do SPAI.
In a landmark case, a Ugandan court has sentenced a former commander of the Lord's Resistance Army rebel group to 40 years in prison for war crimes. Thomas Kweyela was found guilty in August of 44 out of 78 charges faced, including murder, rape, enslavement, pillaging, torture and kidnapping. It was the first time that an officer of his seniority from the feared group was convicted by a Ugandan court. The LRA was founded in the late 1980s with the aim of overthrowing the government and creating a state based on leader Joseph Kony's interpretation of the Ten Commandments.